Hi everyone, Namaste, and welcome everybody. This is your buddy Sid. So, like I said in my last video, my introductory video, I've said I want to start this channel by talking about myself, letting you know about who I am, being transparent, and growing together as a family. So, well, some of you might know, those who keep following me on my social media platform like Instagram and Facebook. I've been posting a lot of things about my day-to-day lives, and I hope most of you are aware about who I am and what I do. So I am basically from Nagaland. I was born in 1989, and unluckily my parents got divorced when I was just 1 year old, and I was brought up by my grandparents. Things were not so easy, or I should say good for me as a kid. I experienced a lot of things which a child should never experience. I somehow grew up under the love and care of my grandparents, and they tried everything that they could, to give me everything that I wanted. But as a human being, sometimes we need more than what we get. And as a child, again, a parent's love is more than what a money could buy. We don't ask much as a kid, but we want our parents to be with us in our day-to-day life, in our every struggle that we face, everything that we do. So that was missing in my life. I did my primary education from my home school. My granddad had a private school when I was a kid, so I went to our own home school, and I studied there up to class 6. And in the 7th standard, I was sent to a district private school, which was run by Catholics. So I was put in the hostel, and I thought, why not? Let's take it as an experience. So I was put in the hostel. I was okay with everything, but things turned a bit off when I was in hostel. I started feeling lonely because none of my families were visiting me back then. It was just once in a blue moon that my grandfather popped up, sometimes to pay the fees and all that stuff, and I feel neglected, as a kid. If I was a grown-up man, I would have never, So if I were a mature as of now, I would have never thought of anything negative. I would have understood that they live in a village and they have a lot of other responsibility things to take care of. But as a kid, it was hard for me to digest that no one was coming to visit me, and I was left alone. And I see my friends' parents coming every weekend to visit them and bring a lot of things for them as well. So these little things were disturbing me a lot, and it was destroying the little brain that I have inside me, and I couldn't even focus on my studies. There were so many things going on inside me. I fell into depression. Well, as a kid, I didn't know that was depression, but right now, going back into it and studying it, it was depression that I was going through, and no one was there to console me. And I even tried to commit suicide at that point of time by taking a lot of tablets. So these things, it took me into a psychological trail where I couldn't control of my thoughts, and I keep running away from the hostel, and this continued for a long time. And when I was in my 9th standard, I left my studies and I started staying back home, and things turned negative from there. Everything went wrong, and it was nothing like before, and I was not good in relationship with my family. I was going out with wrong friends, and I was indulging myself in all sort of wrong things that at adolescence age a person can do. I was into drinking and all those sort of things, and after a long time, I decided to meet go search for my mom, because I've never seen her ever in my life. since my mom and dad got divorced when I was a kid, so I didn't recognize, or I have never known my mom. So even though we are from the same state, my mom lives in different districts, so it was difficult for me to, know where she is or how she is. So I started gathering some knowledge about my mom, where she is from, or where she lives and all that. Then luckily I found uh, something out about not my mom but her sister. So I found out where she was living. So I had a fight with my uncle, I should say, younger brother of my father. So I had a fight with him, and he asked me to leave the family. So I left the family. I went in search of my mom. I was, I think, 21 at that time. So I left the family. So I left the family, and I went in search of my aunt, and it was a hard time for me. Um, um, I was running away from home once again and trying to find my mom, and I didn't exactly know. I know the town where she lives, but I don't exactly know where she lives. So it was a hard time for me, but I took my stand that I would search my mom, and I would share with her all my sorrows or whatever that I have gone through. So many things, so many questions were going inside my mind. Sorry. I stayed in a hotel for a night, and the next morning I asked the owner of the hotel to help me out in searching my aunt. And she was very glad, and she was upset after hearing my story, and she decided to help me, and she told me not to worry because she knows somebody from that community. So she took me to one house, a family, and I started sharing my story, and they heard a similar story from their friend long time back, and they took me to that place where my aunt lived, and voila, luck has in store of me, and turn out she's my aunt, and it didn't took her a long time to recognize me. So because I look more like my mom and even like my dad. Some of the folks says like mom and dad, they look very alike. So yeah, I look similar to both of them. I had a face feature of my mom and my dad, both of them. So that's how I met my aunt, and then I came in contact with my mom and my other mom's family, like my uncles. Everybody contacted me, and that's how I met my mom. By the time I found my mom, she already got married and she had another 5 kids. But I was very happy because my stepfather was very good to me, and he never let me feel like I'm never a part of their family, nothing like that. He was very good. His family treated me very nice, and I was very happy. Things were going good. But things took a U-turn after some time. I decided to go for a theological study. I was doing good, and I was very happy that now I found a family who supports me, and my life was taking a good turn. And then things happened. My mom my mom left again, and I was devastated. I went into depression. I couldn't remember things that people tell me. I went into a very deep depression, but somehow I fought it back with the help of my another aunt. She and her family really helped me out. They took me to their home. They let me stay with them, and they started counseling me and treating me as a 5-year-old kid. And that is how I overcame my depression. But things were never the same. I was so destroyed from inside, and I needed a gap. I needed a relaxation from the life that I was living. So I left the family. I left every one of them. I deleted every contact in my phone. I went into exile. I made a friend He was in Assam. He got married and he was staying with his wife's family in Assam. So he took me there. We stayed together there for like 2 years. I was out of touch from my family. I didn't let them know where I was. I was happy for a time being because I needed this like a vacation for me, a little refresh to start my new life. So it was a long time. It was a hard time for me, but I found myself back, and then I decided to work. I tried finding job. I worked as a security guard in cement factory in Guwahati, and it was a really hard job. I could never imagine, any hardest job. We used to stay awake whole night guarding the cement factory, and it was really hard for me. I went through a lot of trolls and pain, and after that I left and I worked in a resort as another security guard, and from there I left and I went to Bangalore with my cousin brother, and we started working there as in a hotel as a room boy, and the manager thought I was a little smart to be a room boy, and he upgraded me to receptionist in front office. So I was very happy. I was working there, and things started turning good from there. I started working, I started shifting from place to place, looking for a better opportunity, and things went bad again. I was hit by jaundice, and I went back to Assam, and I nearly died. Guys, jaundice is not a joke. I nearly died. And after that, I went back home. I reunited with my family members, and by the time, everybody really changed. The way they think about me, the perspectives, everything changed, and I was really happy. And I started living my normal life with them. But then I wanted to be on my own. I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I want to stand on my own feet. So I moved back from there to Delhi with the help of a school principal. I started working there as assistant, teacher's assistant in a school, and then I helped him out for 1 month, and he said, no, this is not the right place for you. You need to go back to the cities and find job and, settle there. So he helped me with 10,000 rupees, with which I went back to Assam, and as I don't know anything about Delhi, and my friends were coming back to Delhi. They used to work here before, so they know everything about Delhi, and I stayed there. I was waiting for them. I was doing my own expenditure, and I spent most of the money in Assam itself, because it took us more than a month to start our journey. So it was not easy. By the time I reached Delhi, I had used all the money that I had, and it was a really hard time. We were staying in a very small room, and by the time we reached here, I came here on in the month of June, and it was very hot. And when we reached Delhi, I was so I can't express what I felt. We opened the door, and the heat of the room was on my face. Oh my god. And there were like 6 or 7 of them in that small room, and 3 of us joined them, and it was fire. I couldn't imagine how they were surviving. It was a really hard time for me. I couldn't sleep because of the heat. It was a very small room, and we don't have AC. We were just using a small cooler, which can only be beneficial for only 2 or 3 persons. Oh my god, I had a really hard time. I ran around looking for jobs everywhere, but I found nothing. I don't know. As they say, in Hindi, like ऊपर वाले जब देते हैं तो चपार फाड़ के देते, जब नहीं देते तो नहीं देते. So I was so devastated, and I started crying hidingly because I had no money. I spent my entire money running around looking for jobs, going for interviews. I started applying everywhere online, every job opportunities that I could find, but I didn't find any. So finally I met a guy from a website, and we met up, and he said like, hey, since you know how to massage, since you're trained, so why don't you start taking this as a profession? But I never wanted to take this as a profession. I wanted to try it just as a hobby, but he told me you can take it as a profession. So I started working it out on it, and then yeah, so I started getting clients, and that is how I started living my life. And I took a room of my own on rent, and uh, it was so I was so relaxed after that. You know, that 12 people staying together in a small room, couldn't breathe, can't sleep at night. It was a hard time, it was a nightmare for me. So when I moved out from there and started living on my own, it was such a relaxed time for me. I could breathe finally, I could be on my own. And during this time of struggle, I had a lot of Facebook friends who used to keep in touch with me, support me morally, send me messages, positive messages. Among those friends were my dad. Um, I will come on that later on. He used to be my Facebook friend, but we never chat. Okay, we didn't have any contact with each other. Uh, One day, all of a sudden, he popped up and he messaged me like, see, I think you really need help, and I've been following you for quite a few time, and I saw your posts, your struggles that you are putting up on Facebook, and I think you really need help and support. So anytime you want any help and support, I'm always here, and I'm always there to support you. You can share your problems with me. So I was surprised at first. I thought like, why a stranger wants to help me. So I asked him, what you want in return. So he said to me like, I don't want anything from you, I just wanted to help you because I thought you really need help. So then we started chatting, and I started sharing my stories with him, and he was really touched by my story, and we started keeping in touch. We shared our numbers, and I asked like, can I call you dad? Because in my mind I thought only a father can do this much for a son, you know. And he was he has a good sense of humor. So he said like, no, you can't call me dad because I'm not that old to be your father, so you can just call me maybe uncle. Then yeah, we started like that, a bit rough, and then we started keeping in touch, and we became very close to each other, that finally he decided, okay, you can call me dad, and he introduced me to his family, and he invited me to his elder daughter's marriage, and that is where he announced like to everybody, all the family members, that this is my son whom I adopted. He lives in Delhi and works in Delhi. So that is how I became close with his family, and not on the papers that we are father and son, but as a human, we are now father and son. We are now a part of each other. We are a family. I used to go home. They live in Kanpur, so I used to go home. I used to visit them whenever I have time, or whenever there is any festival. So we are now very close to each other. All the family members are very close to me. They take care of me as their own. Like, they never let me feel I am never part of their family. No, they treat me so nice, and everybody loves me. My sisters, they take me as their brother, and I have a younger brother, and he treats me as his elder brother. And mom and dad, they are just awesome. There's a saying like, a family is not where you are born, but a family is what you make of. So I think this is very much my family, and I always have respect and love for them, especially my dad, because he came into my life at such times when I have known and I have nobody to support me. He was the only one who was there for me, and I don't know, without my dad, where I would be right now. It is all because of him and his support that I could survive this long, and I could be on my own. So that is very much me. Now I'm living in Delhi. Sometimes I'm working as a freelance assistant to tourists, those who come from outside. I guide them in their work, and sometimes I'm working as a massage therapist. I give services, visiting homes, and I invite people at my place too. So that is how I'm surviving here in Delhi. I hope someday, if fate allows, who knows, maybe we can make it big. Just keep on praying for each other, remember me in your prayers, wherever you might be, and send love. Support me in this interview. I want to take this on a long term, and I want to make it as a profession. I want to be a professional vlogger in days to come. Right now I'm just starting up, so I have a very less experience editing and all those things, nil. I'm just starting it up with faith. So guys, support me and help me in this endeavor. I'll be very grateful as we grow together as a family. I hope to share a lot of things with you, more things, and let us all grow together in this family, sharing love and supporting each other as humans. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, share, and like. Give a thumbs up, and ring the bell icon to get notification. Take care, guys. Take care, guys, and please stay safe and follow the precaution rules, safety rules. Use sanitizer, use gloves, use mask whenever you go out, and stay safe. Save yourself and save your family from this situation that we are going on right now, and we will all come together as winners in the end. So guys, please take care, and please help me by subscribing to my channel, and give your thoughts in the comment section. Tell me whatever that you want me to change, or any suggestions, any constructive ideas. I'm always welcoming you for the constructive ideas. So guys, take care and stay safe, and please keep supporting. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. Bye bye.